Hello everyone, this is Griffin Station back here with another Jump Force video, and today's video is another characters people want. And I know I didn't release one last week, but here we are with our video on Assassination Classroom. And as with all these character people want videos, we take the comments from the previous video's comment section and put them up on the screen for you all to read to see which characters you all want in Jump Force. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. And I want to start this off with an overwhelming number of people wanting this particular character, and this should not come as a surprise. This character was in J-Stars, and that is Kurosensei. 7 people want him. The comments are up right now, and it's not that big of a surprise because Kurosensei is one of the main characters. You could call him the main character. Maybe you'd say Nagisa is the main character. Maybe you just say Class 3E in general are the main characters. But regardless, Kurosensei makes the most sense to be playable if they were only going to choose one playable character, considering most of the students, while they are being trained to be assassins, they aren't necessarily strong enough to fight against the likes of Naruto or Luffy or Goku. However, I feel there are some characters that do fit that niche, and we're going to be getting into that in this comment section soon. Our first comment comes from Dragonoid Fox, which says, I want Kuro and Nagisa. Now, Nagisa is technically the main character of Assassination Classroom. I know Kurosensei is the face of it, but I would actually consider Nagisa the actual main character. Now, Nagisa, while he doesn't have actual powers, he's probably the most skilled assassin, maybe next to Karma, in Assassination Classroom. It's also the student that we follow the most in the story, and so if they were going to choose a second playable character, I could really understand if they ended up going with Nagisa. Misa the cat says, I can only see Kurosensei being playable, but it would be cool to see Nagisa or Nagisa and Karma tag team, like Android 17 and 18 from Dragon Ball FighterZ, but I think only Kurosensei is going to be in Jump Force, and I am glad that I'm seeing somebody being a little bit reasonable with their expectations, because as the releases have gone on, I've now started tempering my expectations in terms of what characters I think will make it into Jump Force. And so, having your expectations exceeded is always great to see, but having a baseline that's probably reasonable is always a good way to move forward, so you aren't let down in the end. But in terms of this comment, besides Kurosensei, as I mentioned in the previous comment, Nagisa, but this actually brings up the combination of Nagisa and Karma. And bringing these two into one fighter would actually be a really fun motif for the characters, since they might not be strong enough to take on some of the other characters in the game alone, but I think they could probably do some work if they were both together. They're both super skilled assassins by the end of the series, and I feel it'd just be great to see some more representation from Assassination Classroom. Our next comment comes from the Dark Phantom, which says, I would want Kurosensei, Karasuma, and Karma. I could only really see Kurosensei being playable since he has speed and has many more combos than anyone else. And once again, it's talking about the possibility of these characters being playable. Karasuma is Class 3E's teacher, and so seeing Karasuma playable, which he was one of my favorite characters of the series, and so seeing him playable would just be great. We don't really know what they would exactly do to give him an amazing combo set, but I'm sure they could pull out something if they really wanted to. Karasuma, I believe, is also a fan favorite character, and so he would make sense if they were going to choose someone else from Assassination Classroom. Disappointed Fuka says, for Assassination Classroom, I want Kurosensei, Kado, and Shiro. 2 new people on this list. Kado, another Class 3E student, and I feel she would probably be an amazing pick for Jump Force. She would be sort of similar to Kurosensei, considering she also has tentacles, but she would also be a great female representative, and she's just super strong, super powerful, and also one of the top assassins in the class. Shiro, also having tentacles, could be in this game. He would be a villain, but I feel if they're going to choose a villain, Shiro would probably be the way they could go. Or there's one other character, we'll be getting into that character later. But Shiro would be great. He's the final villain of the series, and it would just be awesome to see if both Kaeda and Shiro made it into the game, then seeing those two interact. L.A. says Kurosensei and Eatonna. Eatonna is technically Kurosensei's brother, and so, once again, has tentacles. One of the more likely characters from Assassination Classroom that can make it in besides Kurosensei. And honestly, he doesn't do a bunch in the series. He appears here and there, but I feel his presence is big enough to the point where he could be playable. He's not as big as, let's say, a lot of the other 3E students, but in the end, he is a major character and also a really well-liked one. And so I could definitely see them including Eatonna into this game. Topito Uchiha, or otherwise known as Topito Uzumaki in this comment, says for Assassination Classroom, I want Kurosensei, Eatonna, Kaeda, Karma, and Ritsu. And I really want to mention this last pick. I was not expecting to see Ritsu on this list, but that would be a super fun, super out there pick that I could honestly, for some reason, see them doing. And if they do it, props to them. There's plenty they could probably do. It'd be more of a joke character, I feel. It wouldn't be as serious as, let's say, somebody like Karma. But the series of Assassination Classroom as a whole is comedic, and so if they wanted to embrace those type of elements, they could use Ritsu. She would also just be another great female character they could put into this game, and although she's not technically real, she'd be awesome to play as nonetheless. Ome Heartless 21 says, Assassination Classroom. Let's see, that one's kind of hard due to many factors, but here's the list. I don't know how a lot of these people would work, but a man can dream. Kurosensei, Eatonna, Horibe, Karma, and Nagisa Shiota. Okay, and the Reaper, cause why not? Lol. Reaper is just such an amazing character that he left such a big impression on me when I was reading the manga, then eventually watched the anime. And so if he makes it into this game, he would just be a great representative for Jump Force. He doesn't have the biggest presence in the series, but what he does have is great. And so if they want to choose a character that maybe isn't Class 3E, maybe isn't Shiro, maybe isn't Eatonna, they could do Reaper. And our last comment comes from V:18, which says, the characters in the series I would want are Kurosensei since he's the main, Nagisa, Kaeda, Karma, and Reaper as a playable character, and his last form as a boss. Now, making his last form a boss, I assume in the story mode, would be really interesting to see how they'd fit in, but Reaper's character is awesome nonetheless, and if they were going to make him playable, adding him as a boss in the story mode would just be icing on the cake. Having a giant tentacle battle would be maybe a little weird in a game like Jump Force, but some people might like it, who knows. It'd still be an interesting boss type thing, but we would really just have to wait and see how that would play out in the story mode. And now, as far as my list, I have a couple characters here, and obviously the first one is Kurosensei. Nobody did not mention him, obviously because Kurosensei is the main character and he would just make sense to include. He was in J-Stars, he has potential moveset, and it literally, if they're going to do Assassination Classroom, they just can't do it without Kurosensei. But for my second spot, it's going to be Kaeda, and the reasons are, one, she is a great female character. She could play similar to Kurosensei, but I feel she would be different enough, and it would just be fun. I'm not sure if any of the other Class 3E students could make it in, just because they don't necessarily have the power levels that the other characters do. But Kaeda, being one of the exceptions, I think could make an excellent pick in this game. As far as the next series that we're going to be discussing, in our next Characters People Want, it will be based on the series Fist of the North Star, or Hakuto no Ken. So leave your comment in the comment section down below which Fist of the North Star characters you want in Jump Force. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please leave a like, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more of my content, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you are alerted whenever I upload. You can also click on the eye icon in the top right hand corner to see some of my recent videos. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or live stream. Bye!